Hello and welcome to the Crone Zone. I'm Lynn. So now we have covered all 78 of the cards, we understand them and their meanings, and we're looking at reading the cards. But there are two very important things we need to know before we start doing that. And those relate to the questions we ask and the layout that we use. These are the two big stumbling blocks, especially if you're new to tarot, but for anybody reading tarot. You must get the questions as clear and accurate as you can, and you must use spreads or card pools that are the simplest for your purpose. There are a lot of prescribed templates out there, like the Celtic Cross and all the rest of it. And when you're new to cards, you can think, oh my word, I have to lay them out in a prescribed order. It's a ritual I have to follow. No, it's not. You can begin exactly where you are, pulling the fewest cards in the simplest way to answer your question. So I'd like to start us off with an example of a question. And this might be, should I relocate? Move house, should I relocate? Or even, which is a little bit worse, will I relocate? Now, I have problems with both of those questions, both angles on that question. And that is that question, couched in those terms, gives the power away, gives your power away. It outsources control to the cards. And that is not how I see the cards. I think we should think of the cards as friendly advisors, able to bring into our consciousness some points we may not have thought of that we can consider. But at the end of the day, we and only we make our decisions. We can ponder what the cards bring up for us, think about it, take the advice of the cards, or not. We are in control, and we must remember that. So, what would I do if asked a question of that sort? Well, straight away, I would break it down into much smaller parts. So I would break it down into perhaps, what would relocating at this time look like? I might ask the cards that. What would it look like to relocate at this time? And then I might ask, well, what would the benefits be of relocating at this time? And then what would the downside, the pitfalls, the issues and problems be of doing it at this time? And then some advice on the way forward. That, to me, gives ample opportunity for the cards to deliver to us their messages without us ceding our power to them. So let's have a look at the spread that came up from asking these questions. But before we do, let me say that for each of those four parts that I broke the question down into, I simply shuffled the deck and drew two cards. If I needed clarification, I could have drawn a third card for each question. At the end, if I was still left puzzled, I could also have drawn a clarifier. So for each section of the question, I shuffled and I took two cards and kept it as simple as possible. And this is what came out. For the question, what does relocation look like at this time? You can see that the two cards which came up here are the Ten of Wands and the Two of Swords. From the Ten of Wands, I'm thinking that the questioner is pretty snowed under. They're very busy in their life at the moment. And the Two of Swords shows an inability to make a choice over moving. And it may well be that they simply don't have the time to think the move through properly in the kind of detail and to plan for it in the way that it needs. So the next question was, what are the potential benefits of a move? And the cards here were the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. These are two very positive cards. The Nine of Pentacles suggests a more rural location where it's possible to enjoy nature. It also shows financial security. There could be a strong possibility of self-employment. And the Ten of Cups indicates emotional fulfillment for the whole family, making the move, living the dream. So this could be a very, very positive relocation and move. However, we come to the next question, which looked at the pitfalls and obstacles. And here we drew the Five of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups, which gives pause for thought. In contradiction to the message of the Nine of Pentacles, which went before, the Five of Pentacles could indicate impoverishment, money issues, putting yourself out in the cold. And a further caution is from the Seven of Cups, which indicates that perhaps the person is dazzled by too many options, some of which could be illusory, that they're really not clear on which choice to make in the detail of this relocation. So 2 simple card draws for each question, and we're definitely getting some useful information out here. So on the second question, what are the benefits of relocation? Well, they seem good indeed. There seems much that's really positive about that. So it's not that the cards are saying don't relocate particularly, but there seems to be a conflict with the pitfalls and downfalls, which is these 2 cards, which show financial issues and perhaps not making wise choices. Now, it may be that those choices are not about relocating per se at all, but about the right property, the right line of business, the right job, the right finessing of the detail of the relocation. And we know from the first card, what does it look like at this time? That the person is very busy and is feeling unable to make choices. So it's looking like relocating could be a fantastic idea, but the time at this precise moment may not be right. And if they do forge ahead at this time, there could be issues. So instead of having the wonderful dream of the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, they could be in quite a dodgy situation. So let's look at what the final outcome cards suggested. The cards which came up for the final question, what is the best way forward at this time, seem to really clinch the issue. Because here we've got Temperance and the Four of Swords. We really have to get the message of Temperance because this is Major Arcana card stepping in here, and it's the only one that's appeared in this reading. So I do feel like it is putting the final marker down. Temperance calls for integration, adjustment, realignment, and also significantly patience. The actions here with the Temperance card are internal processes, not external. It's not a time for outward action. And although we don't really need it, the message is further reinforced by the Four of Swords, a card of retreat, rest. Again, the message is this is not the time to act. The message of these two cards seemed really clear to me, and I didn't feel a need to pull any further cards for clarification. I felt that the cards had had opportunity to speak just in those six simple cards. Six? Yes. No, eight simple cards. Eight simple cards that were pulled there. So I hope that's shown you that if you get your questioning right, you break your question down sometimes to give a little more information. And then the simplest of card pulls, keeping the number down to one, two, or three, a number that certainly as a beginner is much easier for you to start getting meaning from the cards. So I hope that was a useful demonstration, and I will be back next time with more on reading the tarot cards. Thank you, and bye for now.